to Old Trafford, Manchester, the day after the night before. Theatre of dreams behind us, or should that be the stuff of nightmares? After Norwich's 4-0 Capital One Cup fourth round exit to the Red Devils. My name's Paddy Davitt, with me Gavin Caney, colleague on the Archer Sports Desk. Just to pick through the wreckage of, well, an eventful night to say the least. Debatable penalty. Dire defending from Norwich, I think it's fair to say. Some razor sharp finishing, Gav, and more worryingly probably for Norwich's Premier League prospects, a double injury blow. Give us your initial thoughts.
Well, it was just a night where nothing went right for Norwich City from the start. 0-0, Man United got on top, and obviously a penalty. Maybe it was a contentious one, but to go 1-0 down, it was always going to be an uphill task. And then to concede a second goal early on in the second half through some woeful defending, then you're really up against it. And then things went from bad to worse with the injury to Robert Snodgrass and then obviously Nathan Redmond as well. And then when it's 3 and 4, it really rubs sort of salt into the wounds.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we'll pick over some of the main incidents you've touched on there, but let's start with the injuries. Robert Snodgrass basically went to hospital overnight. We haven't had an update as of yet, but Chris Hughton did give the impression that they were overly concerned. It was more caution. Suspected damage to an eye socket, sustained in an aerial challenge with Rafael da Silva, and then actually concussed when he landed very awkwardly, and needed upwards of 10 minutes of medical attention from both sets of club's physios until he was stretchered off, rather worryingly in a neck brace. But as I say, it looks like it was just a precautionary measure, but clearly I think it's safe to say he won't be involved or in contention for Manchester City. Nathan Redmond was the other injury, about 10 minutes after Snodgrass's exit. Just pulled up suddenly as he was running down the wing, holding his left side. Chris Hughton again confirmed that was a muscle problem just over the hip area. Not overly concerned again, but they need to see how it settles down in the next 2 days. And again, you'd have to say at this stage he's got to be a major doubt for the return trip up here this weekend at the Etihad. And I suppose that is the major downside, isn't it? 2 injuries to 2 probably key players.
Well, it's bad enough sort of losing 4-0, but perhaps many people didn't expect City to come and get a victory at Old Trafford against the Premier League champions. But losing is one thing, going out is another, and then having 2 injuries to key wide men really made it a very sour night. I mean, it may not be long term, it may only be Saturday that they're missing, but it's not ideal to lose 2 players that are important and 2 wide players as well.
Yeah, and obviously in terms of the game itself, debatable penalty from Norwich's point of view. Chris Hughton was adamant that Adnan Januzaj went over rather too easily in a contact with Leroy Fair. Said if you're going to give those, then you'd have to give 4 or 5 per game. You can kind of see his point. I mean, it was a generous one. What was your take on it, Gav?
I suppose it's one of those ones that if it's given against you, you think it's soft, but you're going to appeal if it's in your own box and you're attacking. At the end of the day, once Leroy Fair's put his leg out, he's made the referee or given him something to do, hasn't he? And maybe it is generous. It's right on the touchline. It was soft, but at the end of the day, if he doesn't stick his leg out, he's perhaps not going anywhere. But I mean, it's one of those you complain if it's given against you, and if it goes for you, you're delighted about it.
And the thing was, as much as there was a case maybe of a sense of a grievance from Norwich, the second goal was really the killer goal, and totally self-inflicted blows. Javier Hernandez, excellent movement all night, and he's basically jumped between Sebastian Bassong and Ryan Bennett, and that really was probably the game, wasn't it? Because just the worst of it was Norwich were just having their best productive spell. They tested Lindegaard a couple of times, and once that goes in, you know it's a long night.
Well, at that point it was obviously 1-0, and it had been United pressure for much of the first half, but they weren't battering City. I know City was struggling to get on the ball, but yeah, at 1-0 you're still in it, and obviously Almanda went quite close. I think Fair went close with a header, and at 1-0 you've got a chance. I know it's going to be difficult at Old Trafford, but to then concede a goal like that, 2-0 down, then you're chasing the game, and it's not a good place to come chasing the game in football when you're 2-0 down.
No, definitely not. And obviously from that point, really the fire went out of the game completely, obviously with the Snodgrass injury interval, and subsequently Nathan Redmond's departure as well, and I suppose Phil Jones's finish, and then Fabio Da Silva, wasn't it, deep in stoppage time. That's really academic, but it kind of probably underlined United's superiority on the night for you.
Well, Man United were by far the better team. They had much more possession, which you would perhaps expect, but with one up front in Almanda being isolated and Wes Hoolahan didn't get on the ball, it always looked like there was only going to be one winner. 4-0 perhaps may be harsh in the grand scheme of things with 2 late goals, but United were by far the better side, and the key men on the night, like Adnan Januzaj, was the best player for Man United, and he controlled the game really in a free roll.
Yeah. So I mean, ultimately it's cup disappointment for Norwich, but as Chris Hughton himself stressed in the build-up, it is really all about league status. And with that in mind, we're back up here again on Saturday, myself and Gavin. So we'll have the best build-up obviously prior to the game with the press conference of Colney, and then obviously we'll have another post-match from the Etihad, hopefully with a better outcome. Cheers, guys. Thanks for watching.